To put this in perspective, 50,000 homes and 1,000 commercial buildings equipped with our technology could provide as much energy as a nuclear power plant. The difference being that this is green energy that could be brought online immediately. This should lead to the second question you're asking. That sounds great, but we don't have 50,000 homes and 1,000 commercial buildings equipped with solar in Illinois. With intelligent generation technology, we could reach this scale in a few years. And that is why I am here today to voice my support of this bill. The promise of intelligent generation is that it makes solar economics work in Illinois, as well as other large states like Michigan, Ohio, New York, and Pennsylvania, where solar economics would not otherwise work today. Our company's business proposition is simple: solar for no upfront cost, saving money for the building owners every year through the generation of clean power, and payback of a 25-year asset in less than 6 years without state subsidies. So the third question I hope you're asking yourself is, where do I sign? Right now, we are proving our technology in the lab and plan to pilot it in 2 phases. Phase 1 is a field test at 2 to 4 commercial buildings and homes, and that will begin in 2 months. Phase 2 will be 10 homes in a Chicago neighborhood where solar, a battery, and intelligent generation will be installed. This pilot has several goals. The first is to prove out IG's technology and economics in the real world. But every bit as important is to demonstrate what intelligent generation could mean for Illinois. It would mean that we can create a market for solar that doesn't exist by vastly improving solar's economics. It means revitalization of communities in the cities, suburbs, and downstate, because buildings produce clean energy and save money and thus are worth more. It means green jobs that can't be exported to install and service these systems. And when the demand is great enough, it probably means local manufacturing jobs for solar panels and batteries. So when I talk about a solar installed base of 50,000 homes and 1,000 commercial buildings, this isn't a pipe dream. And it isn't just the building owners who install our technology that benefit. It's good for our tax base, property values, and investor attractiveness. ComEd sees the potential of our technology and stands ready to partner with us on this pilot. The extent to which they can do so beyond the Phase 1 field test is dependent on passage of House Bill 14. Now, the innovation of intelligent generation, one that could create a new market for solar energy in 1/3 of the United States, not to mention internationally, was born in Illinois, and we want it to stay in Illinois. And intelligent generation is just the first of a number of Illinois entrepreneurs that have built business models based on deploying smart grid technologies, want to base their operations here, and most important, want to establish Illinois and Chicago as a leader and epicenter of smart grid innovation. There is no shortage of passion or ingenuity in this state to make this happen. But if passion alone could create the Silicon Valley of smart grid in Illinois, we'd already be there. And as an entrepreneur, I can assure you that passion alone can't do it. It takes much more. It takes the right infrastructure, the right investment, and political leadership. Let's start with infrastructure. The simple truth is that the electric grid of Edison and Insull wasn't built for renewable energy. It was built for one-way flow of electricity with controllable assets like power plants, not two ways with distributed assets like solar panels and wind turbines. If we want to incorporate clean power into the grid and do it in a way that improves stability and reliability while reducing costs, then we have to make the grid intelligent. And that means we need to upgrade our infrastructure by overlaying an information technology layer on top of the electricity transmission and distribution layer. That, in short, is what the smart grid is, which means we need to make the right investment. Intelligent generation solves a lot of complex problems, but understanding this requires a knowledgeable, savvy investor. Right now, smart money in Illinois is all going to web and iPhone applications or biotech, not smart grid, because these types of companies have proven investor results. We are not going to achieve similar results in smart grid or clean energy unless we invest in an infrastructure that makes early stage success possible. An open smart grid that could be a test bed for companies like mine and the many other companies that would warrant ComEd's attention. If ComEd does not have certainty that it can make the long-term investment in the 21st century grid, their ability to partner with companies like ours is diminished. A stable, predictable approach to funding means that a company can run as fast as it can. And that's true for an early stage company like ours, and it's true for a multi-billion-dollar regulated utility. Absent that, budgeting must be done for the worst case scenarios, slowing progress and allowing others to pass us by. Hence the need for political leadership. As a comparison, let me tell you 4 things going on not far away from here in the state of Michigan. First, they have an open smart grid test bed with Detroit Edison, where companies like mine can plug in our technology and conduct commercial tests. Second, the state of Michigan is acting as a catalyst for significant pilot projects. One of the most notable is installing 500 kilowatts of solar and 750 kilowatt hours of battery storage in a Ford assembly plant. To put that in perspective, that's enough solar and battery for 250 homes. Detroit Edison is funding $3 million. The state is funding $2 million, and Ford is funding $800,000. Our technology could significantly improve the economics of that installation. This leads to Michigan's third initiative, creating the right climate for companies that span the clean energy supply chain. Today, Michigan has 250 clean energy supply chain companies evenly divided between solar and wind. That doesn't even include the scores of battery companies, power electronic companies, and all the companies doing work for plug-in vehicles. Which leads me to the fourth thing that Michigan is doing, and that is wooing us with a significant investment and tax breaks to leave Illinois, move 60 miles east, and become a Michigan company. We're not the only Illinois company they're approaching. They are playing the clean energy leadership game for keeps, and so are Iowa, Wisconsin, and Ohio. The question for you is Illinois going to cede smart grid leadership to other states when we have the passion and innovation to lead? We've made a good start with achievements like the Regional Smart Grid Innovation Cluster, but we are behind. And without the right smart grid infrastructure and investment, which requires your leadership and the urgency to act now, all the innovation that comes out of places like Argonne, our great universities and entrepreneurs, all that passion, and ultimately the benefits, jobs, and attractiveness of Illinois as the place to do smart grid business will go somewhere else. That must not happen on your watch. Our state needs a shot in the arm to unleash its potential, and House Bill 14 provides it. The reality is that House Bill 14 is an investment that will create Illinois jobs now and a clean energy ecosystem and infrastructure that will endure for generations. It will enable future energy costs to come down because a growing base of clean power generation will mean we're not completely at the mercy of fossil fuel prices or nuclear safety issues. And most of all, it will provide a vital piece of the smart grid innovation puzzle that will allow Illinois and its entrepreneurs a chance to become national leaders. I encourage you to pass House Bill 14. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, should we go on to the next? I thought I saw some members requesting a quick question.
Representative May, did you want to wait till the panel finishes testifying before you start your questions, or you want to ask each witness? What's your pleasure?
It's the chairman's pleasure, but I do have a specific question for this witness.
Go ahead.
Yes, I'm very happy, Mr. Marhofer, to have you testify about clean energy. What size, when you talk about 1,000 commercial buildings, what size are you talking about?
We estimate in Illinois there are 50,000 buildings between 25,000 and 200,000 square feet with flat roof space that could accommodate this. So when we say 1,000, we're talking, I think we're talking 2% of all those buildings.
But how much energy, what size? I mean,
in those types of situations, you would typically install between 100 and 500 kilowatts of solar per building.
Okay. I'm just intrigued by what you're saying because as a sponsor of the net metering bill, ComEd is disagreeing with our goal of getting to some of the larger buildings. And they're saying that the costs will go up instead of coming down, and you're arguing that the costs would come down. So I'm just questioning why you're supporting a bill that so far has nothing about green energy in it.
Well, the truth is that with our technology, we don't need net metering. Everything that occurs with our installations occurs on the customer side of the meter and thus is not subject to regulation or to the sort of net metering and interconnection that's required. So it is possible for us to look at this from the standpoint of both the benefits of the information side of smart grid, but also to implement clean energy at both the residential and commercial scale in a way that does not result in an affront to what you're referring to.
So do you get any return for the people who sell? Do they get paid at all for the money that they're putting back to the grid?
They're not putting any money. They're not putting any electricity back on the grid.
They're just using it for their own use?
What they are doing is acquiring electricity when it is relatively inexpensive, cheap, or even negatively priced, as it is when ComEd or others want to take power off the grid. Storing it for later use when the electricity is valuable, such as peak times during the afternoon.
Is it only for their use, or are they selling it back to the grid?
No, it's not net metered. It is only for their use.
It's only for their use?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, and it seems like banding together with all the different homes and all, it's sort of like some sort of an aggregation also?
Yes, we like to think of ourselves as the Facebook of renewable energy in that regard.
Okay, okay, thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Mr. Marhofer did provide his testimony written form, so if there are questions, and I'm sure he'd be able to respond later to them. Next, we'll have Mark Euro from